Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to the Easy Peasy Show brought to you by Sportasonic. You can listen to every episode of the Easy Peasy Show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or anywhere else you usually listen to your podcast on. Once again, thank you for tuning in. Now let's get into the episode.
Hey guys, welcome into the Easy Peasy Show. Man, finally getting to like actual football, not preseason football this weekend. Man, I can't wait. Oh, we got week sicko, I mean zero. We got some more preseason, of course, sadly, but really, I mean, although there's not much going on in the world of sports, there is a lot of news this week. So, excited to get into that. We'll start off with Shohei Ohtani. I mean, I was drooling on him a few shows ago, and now it sucks because he tore his UCL. And if you're not a baseball guy, torn UCL for a pitcher is basically like tearing your ACL or Achilles for a basketball player. Um, it's just a brutal injury. They shut him down pitching for the year. Still, he'll still hit, but man, that really sucks.
Yeah, I guess so too, but I don't know what the MVP award is for that. Before we get too much forward, apologies for missing an episode this week. By the way, to our listeners, we got caught up with some things. Wanted to make sure that we had enough content. I don't think we had enough content. We didn't properly research. We wanted to do the episode justice, so we're going to make it up tonight, and we're going to do our NFL coverage starting next week. I know we formally promised this week, but we're going to do that next week. And but yeah, getting back to the Otani issue, yeah, it's unfortunate for him. Boohoo, he can't pitch anymore. I mean, it's not a career ender. Cry me a river. You still won whatever the MVP award is this season. Congrats to you, unless that Seager guy decides to hit
No,
grand slams to win every single game from here on out. I think it's Otani's, and yeah, I mean, I guess I feel bad for him. I mean, I don't know. Um,
it just
I
kind
hope
of
he gets
sucks
better
for
soon.
him. It kind of sucks for him being in a contract year like he is.
Oh
Yeah, I mean,
man, yeah, he may not get signed next season. Oh no.
No, I don't know. He's definitely gonna get signed,
Yeah,
but he's gonna
exactly
lose
my
a lot.
point.
He lost a lot of money. Not that, which is a
Womp
whole other
womp.
topic in itself. I mean, when you're talking about like a 300, $400 million contract, I don't think losing $30 million really hurts that bad. So
I mean, Austin Matthews just on a 4-year contract for like $30 million. So baseball players can cry me a river for all I care.
wait, really?
Yeah,
Heck, gone.
yeah, I
That's
know.
crazy.
A much more entertaining sport gets paid like 10% of what baseball players get paid to
Mm,
go out
Disagree.
there. Mhm. Oh man, yeah. The only time I see baseball highlights is whenever there's fights, and there's fights like every single hockey game. So that's all I'll say about that. I will say
I
Aaron
see a
Judge
lot.
hit like 3 home runs the
Yeah,
other
for the
day
first
or
time in his
yesterday.
career, which is honestly when I saw that was the first time in his career, I was pretty shocked. I mean, the dude literally doesn't do anything but hit home runs. So,
Yeah, that's awesome. Surely the Yankees are like championship contenders.
oh yeah, surely they're not in last place.
Surely.
Surely,
Yeah.
surely they have a squad around Aaron Judge, and he didn't just sign um, a long-term contract with them last year. Surely,
Yeah, I know. Oh, God, I'll never forgive MLB for taking over the TV screens just to watch. Was it Aaron Judge hit a home run?
yes,
That's so
yes,
stupid. So stupid.
dude. I mean, obviously I'm a big baseball fan, but God, dude, I don't care. I'm trying to watch college football. Get Aaron Judge off my screen.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably the stupidest thing I've ever witnessed in sports. Or that's at least top three. I'd have to think really hard on what the stupidest thing I've ever seen is. Maybe the Florida player throwing a shoe down the field is up there,
Or
but I
Florida's
don't know.
current head coach taking a safety up 3 points.
That maybe,
Like on
maybe,
purpose, he told his quarterback to run from the 40-yard line to the end zone, waste time, and just take a safety up 3 points with like a minute and a half left.
maybe. Yeah, I'm not sure. There's not much. I'm thinking of a lot of things, but there's really not much that actually like tops that whole home run fiasco. But
I mean, I get it in a sense, like he's chasing history. It's cool and all, but like, come on, let's know our boundaries. Let's know our boundaries.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't get it. I guess it is. Like I said, I'm not really a baseball fan, so I mean, it really was probably the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Not much on
And I
top
am a
of
baseball fan, and I hated it. So
it. So that meme of the black guy and the white guy shaking hands, and you know what I mean? They're like
yes,
the hands are like
exactly.
grasped together, flexing. That's us right now.
Yes, exactly. I will
Baseball
say
hater.
I don't. I hate the Yankees. So in turn, I hate Aaron Judge. But maybe
Is it
that
cool?
has
Is it
something to
cool
do
to
with it.
is it cool to hate the Yankees or something?
No, I just don't like him.
Yeah, it must be the popular thing to do. Bandwagon.
Yeah, probably so.
What's your favorite baseball team again?
The Astros.
Oh yeah, definitely bandwagon.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyways,
I mean, I was an Astros fan when they
before
couldn't
they're
even
banging
sell
trash
tickets.
cans,
Exactly.
before that's what they're known for.
I'll say it proudly. They banged trash cans. They still won. Who cares? Still get that World Series trophy.
I wonder why they won. Maybe it's because they bang trash cans.
And
Weirdos.
and what's your point?
Illegitimate. That's the equivalent to the bubble championship for the Lakers.
Nah. 20 years from now, they'll just forget about it. I don't care. That's like that.
Uh,
Oh man, who was that? Who was that white dude for the Celtics? He said like,
Larry
um,
Bird.
no, he was playing in the finals. And he said like, I'll go home tell my children I played. 5 years from now, I'll tell them. No, no, no. It was 5 years from now. I'll go home tell my kids I played. 10 years from now, I'll tell them I was a starter. 15 years from now, I'll tell them what was it? Maybe I won MVP or something. I don't know. I
When's the
can't
last time
remember
a
what he
white guy
said.
won MVP?
No, 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 MVP, like Finals MVP.
Oh, a white guy for the Celtics.
Trying to see. I'm looking it up.
This should be a hoop grid column. White guy. White guy on team.
Uh, hmm,
The research skills are going well, huh?
well, there for whatever reason I said white guy, and they're pulling up Jalen Brown. So
Yeah. His last namesake. He's definitely not white.
I,
Not all you
I
got.
don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're getting some details mixed up somewhere.
No, I know. So it was,
We'll move on. We'll move on then.
we'll move on.
Anyways,
I'll try to
yeah,
find it though.
yeah. Or I mean, up to you. We'll stay on baseball. I'm sure you've been keeping up with the news of the Stephen A. versus Lonzo Ball drama. Um,
Mm.
pretty great stuff right there. I don't know what I guess I'm Team Lonzo. I want to hate on Lonzo, but it's hard to. Maybe when he first got into the league, it was easy to, but now he's kind of like he's the most sane ball uh family
Yeah, you don't
member.
even. You really don't even hear anything from him.
Well, yeah, it's because he doesn't play. I mean,
Well, yeah, that is true. But even when he does play, it's not like.
no, he's
I
a
mean, the
good
only
team
time you
player.
hear about
He's
him
like,
is when he makes a good play or something.
yeah,
He's
he's a
not
good team player.
stepping
Has
away
really
from
good IQ.
basketball, from that mental health and all that.
Yeah, and I mean,
Which
surely,
I do think mental health is important, but I mean,
okay,
I don't know.
weirdo.
I don't
Anyways,
know.
yeah, no, Lonzo Ball versus Stephen A. I'm Team Lonzo. But I mean, Stephen A's got some good. But apparently, Stephen A. said his sources were Lonzo's doctor. And then Lonzo's posting videos, saying like I'm not injured. I can sit up, or like stand up and sit down perfectly fine. But to Stephen A's point, it's like that's cool and all. Well, now let's see you jump or something. I don't think he said that, but I mean, just kind of that's kind of what I'm thinking. It's like, okay, you proved him wrong, but that really wasn't his main point. His main point was that this dude, like, you're still nowhere close to being healthy. That's why you're sitting out the whole next season. I mean, it was really announced during last season that you're not going to play the whole next season, which I mean is kind of rare, you know. So I don't know. Anyway, I do hope Lonzo gets better. I'm sure he'll come back, you know, stronger than ever. I know the Bulls are feeling a little finessed right now, but maybe that's the key piece they need. I don't think so, but that's about all I have to say about that. I don't know if you have any thoughts other than what I said, Peyton.
No, I mean I completely agree with you, Team Lonzo. I think Stephen A. is completely out of line when he says things.
Hmm.
90% of the time, come on, bro. I get that his job is to get ratings and stuff, but I mean, let's tone it down a little bit, Stephen A.
And now it's gonna be him and Shannon Sharp together. That's
And
that's gonna be fun.
Richard Sherman, and Skip Bayless, which I cannot believe, considering uh, Richard Sherman went on that show and told Skip Bayless that he's better at life than he is.
Hey, it happens.
I did find it, by the way.
Okay, who said it?
Brian Scalabrine.
Scalabrini?
Scalabrine, my bad.
Yeah,
It is
yeah.
what it
You,
is.
you need to learn these names. You need to learn your players. Come
Yeah,
on,
I
dude.
know.
You don't
I
know
know.
ball.
That was when Scalabrine. Oh, wait. A little bit of background. A reporter from Europe asked Scalabrini about not playing a single minute during the whole 6 games of the championship round. That was when Scalabrini said that time will pass and he will still be an NBA champion. And after that, after 30 years, he can claim to his kids that he was the Finals MVP.
Okay, that's
There was more to it as well, but
yeah. That's still such a weird thing to say. So I'm just not. I'm not gonna waste any brain power towards that.
no, I mean,
So
I thought it was funny.
I mean, it is, but it's more strange. It's more strange than
Yeah,
funny to me.
which
But
I also the article I was reading that quoted him also said that he was hammered while while giving the interview. So
that makes a tad bit more sense. All right. Well, so yeah, there's that. Let's see what else we got. I guess we can move on to the football side of things by starting with Sam Darnold versus Trey Lance. The fall of Trey Lance continues.
yeah, almost kind of embarrassing for the 49ers. I mean, dude, I wouldn't have even announced that. I mean, he's your first round pick a few years ago. You're saying, oh yeah, he's the next big thing, and I mean, he's just been nothing short of terrible since he stepped foot in the league. Um, I mean, man, that's you lost out to Sam Darnold.
Yeah, and chances are they probably were playing at the same level, but Trey Lance probably has a little bit more value to him than Sam Darnold. So I made smart on their end to try and trade Trey Lance over Sam Darnold. But yeah, congratulations to Sam Darnold, won the backup spot fair and square. And if the whole Brock Purdy hype, fails to live up to how he ended the season, then they got a competent backup in Sam Darnold, who has plenty of starting experience, and he'll probably fit in seamlessly with the offense. But yeah, I don't
Who
know.
wouldn't?
I don't know what's in store. I mean, fair point. I don't know what's in store for Trey Lance. It'll be interesting. I know. I think the Vikings were a team that were supposedly interested, but I don't know. Maybe he goes to the Falcons, and him and Ritter can have
Mm,
competition. It'll be
Mitter.
interesting to see where he goes. And but I think at the end of the day, 49ers, unfortunately, yes, they're on the losing end of this deal no matter what. Chance the best thing they'll probably be able to get is a fourth round pick out of this, which is insane for a quarterback who's going to be competing for a starting job probably. But at the end of the day, like you said, you lost out big time on this. You spent a first round pick and you're essentially trading it for at best a fourth round pick. Wouldn't surprise me if it's like a combination of sixth and seventh rounders, and like maybe
Yes.
a maybe like a makeup player or something that eventually gets cut. But
Speaking
well,
of bad
regardless, best of
trade
luck to Trey
value
Lance.
for
Say that
high
again.
draft picks. Speaking of bad trade value for high draft picks, Isaiah Smith, same thing. I mean, Simmons, he got traded from the Cardinals today for little to nothing.
Yeah, seventh rounder. I mean, you know, so, I mean, I guess smart move by the Cardinals. Really, you have someone on the last year of their contract that isn't going to stay with you at the end of the season. I mean, I guess in your middle of a rebuild, trade them away. I think they made like 3 trades today. As a matter of
Yep.
fact, kind of all similar situations. Just people that knew they weren't interested in being on the team, and like I said, you're in the midst of this huge rebuild. I mean, why not just gather these draft picks? Because thankfully in the NFL, I mean, sure, there's a talent gap between the first and seventh round, but I mean, it's much easier to find diamonds in the rough in the NFL than any other sport. I think, as far as the draft is concerned, and even free agency. It's
Yeah, like, I would agree with that.
because you have obviously your upper echelon of talent in the NFL always, but then it's like the mid to bottom tier players are almost like all equivalent. Like like I can think of half the players on each team that you could swap with I don't get what I get what I'm trying to say, but I can't really say what I'm trying
Articulate
to
it.
yeah, I can't. Basically, I think like I said, besides your upper echelon in the NFL, most of these players have the same talent level. I mean, the only thing that may differ is like work ethic or something like that, or IQ. So, I mean, like I said, gather your draft picks now. I don't think that's a bad move. Get a bunch of young, hungry players. Come next spring, fall camps, see who wants to play. Get your team back on the ship, especially once Kyler Murray gets back. It'll be interesting to see what they do. But yeah, I say Cardinals have made their intentions very clear this season. But speaking of staying on football, Jerry Jeudy also got carted off of practice today. I believe it was a hamstring issue. I think the initial reports coming out saying he's going to miss several weeks, which is kind of what's expected of Jerry Jeudy any given season. He's far ahead of schedule here, though, taking the injury in the preseason for a change rather than the middle of the season. So he's getting his scheduled injury out of the way earlier than usual. Best of luck to him. I know he's kind of had a he's a good receiver. Don't get me wrong, but he's had a really rough career just because he like I say he gets injured every season. And it's always like it's never a minor injury. It's always you know uh, almost an almost super major injury. I mean, it's no ACL tears or anything, but it's hamstring strain still ain't nothing to play with, especially being a wide receiver.
Yeah,
Feel bad for
definitely.
him, but he'll get better soon, and like I said, he'll have. And it's not the Broncos are going to be powerhouses, unless I'm completely wrong. Unless Sean Payton somehow turns that ship magically around, but
Okay.
I don't think Jerry Jeudy being gone is a detriment to himself or the team. Really, the Broncos are the Broncos, so you know, it'd be different if Justin Jefferson got hurt for the Vikings. Jerry Jeudy being hurt for the Broncos means pretty much next to nothing. Other than get well soon, Jerry. So
Yep. I mean, it does suck. Um, Having a guy with that much talent, he just hadn't worked out to this point. Just mostly due to injuries. Like you hit on, I mean, he is a good receiver when he's healthy, but he
hmm
just can't string together a full year.
yeah, I mean, hopefully he can soon. I mean, like I said, but it's hard to look at the past and not have use that as your judgment for the next seasons. And I said it already happened this season. Like the season ain't even started and it already happened. So it's like okay, like I said, at the end of the day, at least he's getting over with sooner than later in the season.
Yeah, but
Knock on wood, he doesn't get hurt again this
man, the
season.
thing you got to be concerned about is as those injuries do pile up, like you know how it shortens careers and stuff. So or shortens primes, really closes the windows of primes. Not saying he's necessarily in his prime yet, but still, just really, really bad. Bad luck for Jerry Judy. Obviously, as an LSU fan,
Womp
he played for
womp.
Bama, but have a whole lot of respect for Jerry Judy as a receiver. Hopefully, he can get it together. Well, let me rephrase that. I mean, it's not like he's in trouble, but his body needs to get things together.
With the first round pick in the race draft, the Jews select Jerry Judy, receiver, Alabama. You don't know that Chappelle skit? No.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes,
I see you seem confused. All time skit by Chappelle.
no doubt.
God, I love Dave Chappelle, man.
Who doesn't?
Anyways, oh, I can tell you plenty of people who don't. Probably about 90% of America don't like him. But
No, yeah, whatever.
I mean, I think that dude's next level funny because he just doesn't care. I can respect him a little bit more. Anyways, staying on football, thankfully, like you said, a lot of football. Um, New documentary came out on HBO about a school formerly known as Bishop Sycamore, formerly known as Christians of Faith or something, or
Yes.
COF Academy. Uh, yeah, so that documentary is very interesting. If you haven't seen it already, I beg you to go watch it. It's very interesting to see, the quote unquote coach's point of view against the players, against the parents, against other coaches even, and against outside reporters and the videographers. It's man, like I said, it's very interesting. Their coach Roy Johnson was a I don't know. I really don't know how to say. I mean, like I said, he's kind of a very wild man, just the way he did things. Obviously, he may say different, but everything he wanted to do is based off of one thing and one thing only, maybe two things: money and fame. And he did both. That's why I think during the whole documentary, he's smiling, he's having a good time because at the end of the day, he's doing exactly what he wanted to do. Get himself in front of the cameras. He may say he wanted to do it for the players too, but he didn't really care. He didn't really care about the players at all. I mean, he's taking out loans in their names. He's making them play through injuries. Um, he's
Torn
oh
ACLs.
we gonna get you some tape. We gonna get you some tape. I mean, he's putting, like I say, he's taking loans out in their name. He's putting hotel names that he can't pay for under their names, so that way, whenever evictions happen, it's not under his name; it's under someone else's name. So, yeah, this dude did some pretty horrible things. He's like hitting his girlfriend in front of the players. Um, sheesh, yeah, this man's a character. Sad thing is he has no remorse either. But good documentary. Go check it out. Um, Yeah, it's amazing how one guy can ruin a bunch of lives, especially for a bunch of young men.
Yeah,
Um,
it kind of makes me feel almost bad to watch the documentary and give this man fame after like. I mean, at the end of the day, that's
mhm,
how he's going to take it. I mean, you watch the documentary, you know how unhinged this guy is. I mean, if you've ever seen The Boys, the show The Boys, he's literally Homelander in real life without superpowers.
mm,
Well, let me rephrase that. He has con man superpowers.
mhm.
Um, but he's not like. I think they kind of hit on it a little bit. Like he's so bad that he's good at conning. Like he's such a bad liar that's like, oh, nobody would lie about this. Like creating a new school. Oh, there's no laws against that because like nobody would do that, right? Right?
Yeah, no, it's
Well,
funny. He more or less took advantage of just what wasn't there rather than what was there. So it was an interesting way. Like I said, I guess good for him. I mean, you play the system. Like I said, certain people think like that, and he did. Like I said, whenever, money and fame control you like that, it is what it is. Like you said, it sucks that we have to talk about him, but like I said, it was a pretty good documentary. Like I say, really open. Other than because before I watched the documentary, honestly was going to watch the documentary and like, like man, I can't wait to see these freaking 21-year-olds who are playing on the team. See what they have to say about like how they suck. But it turns out they're getting players off of Madden. Their coach actually just doesn't care about them. None of the coaches do. So it was not what I expected to see, but nonetheless, I'm happy I watched it. Um, Really sucks that there's like I said, there's probably other quote unquote academies out there that
yeah,
do
I
the
mean, he
same
even
thing. Just
referenced it.
not to that extent. He's probably on the more extreme side of how these things operate. But point is, he's going to do the same thing again. He even said at the end of the documentary he's going to be doing the same thing, just going to be under a different name, I assume. I doubt Bishop Sycamore's a real thing anymore. But if that's his second or third try, he says he's going to stop at the fourth or third, respectively. So
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
he really
great
hadn't faced any
documentary.
kind of he hadn't faced any kind of consequences, really.
Yeah, well
I
he
mean, it
does.
was a
He
backlash.
just ignores them. He just
Yeah,
ignores
I
the
mean,
consequences, which
who
is just
cares?
amazing. What is it? He has like $300,000 worth of lawsuits against him.
30 separate lawsuits.
Mm.
30 separate lawsuits against him.
He just
He
doesn't
said,
care.
he said, oh, really?
He's like, oh,
Okay.
that's all you know about, though, pretty much.
Yeah, he was probably
He's like,
like,
oh, he's like,
"Yeah,
oh, that's all y'all are able to find.
that's it." I mean, he they asked him, "How many lawsuits do you have against you?" And he said, "How many could y'all find?"
Yeah, I know. It's a very interesting. Like I said, this dude got what he wanted. He got the fame, got the notoriety, and you can tell by the players' reactions that they didn't respect him as a coach. I think maybe like one or two of them kept calling him Coach Roy, and the other ones just called him Roy. Which just kind of goes to show,
It
what
was
they
funny
thought
when
about
they
him.
asked about his coaching ability, and they were like,
Oh yeah, like he's not really a coach. Like I said, they got their plays off of Madden, which is pretty funny.
And he didn't care. He said, "I ain't the offense coordinator. I don't care."
He ain't nothing. And just
Mm,
that one clip of him on ESPN when he's going to get water, you could tell that he was just like fake.
yeah, he was like
So,
that Spanish guy coming out in that like gold and black jacket. Oh, man,
mm,
I don't know if you know that video. I mean, I know you
mm,
know what it is, but it's like he like makes a face at the camera.
I don't know. I'm not sure what you're saying. What you're saying is not sounding familiar. I'll look
Um,
it up after the show. Just remind me. Put it down in the
yeah,
notes or something. We'll circle back to it once we get through recording because we have bigger and better things to move on. If you're through talking about BSI,
yeah,
all right. Actually, let's talk about this one last thing. Um, and then, well, I feel like if we talk about NCAA, then we gotta move in to the NCAA preview. I'd rather save that for last. Let's just go ahead and talk about Maason Smith. It came out today, the day we're recording, Thursday, I believe, or was it the day before? Was it
yeah.
Wednesday or Thursday?
It was Wednesday,
It was
late
Wednesday.
Wednesday night. Yeah,
Okay, it came out. He got suspended for only one game, the season opener against Florida State, because of violations that the NIL pretty much grants. Um, I guess no consequences for. But basically, I guess what he do, he signed some signatures for profit
yeah.
before
Him and
NIL kicked
Kayshawn
in.
Booty about a week before it officially kicked in. Him and Kayshawn Booty were signing autographs for money.
Mm, do the crime, pay the time.
Yeah, in a
Do the
sense,
crime,
but
do the time. Whatever the saying may be.
yeah, in a sense, but I feel like it was unjust to suspend him, being that Kayshawn Booty was able to. He got suspended last year for a game, Kayshawn Booty, but he just used the game that he stepped away from um, when he had his child as the suspension. I don't think that's fair. Like
Yeah, no,
you were already stepping away from the game.
yeah, I know.
What?
Yeah, they should execute him. I
I
mean,
100% agree.
Brian Kelly's in favor of execution.
I agree.
Yeah. Anyways, back to Mason Smith. Yeah. To your point, I do agree. I guess, but I also see the side that I guess I don't know how long did Johnny Manziel get suspended for? Did he even get
Half
suspended?
a game.
Half a game? Oh wow! So the punishment doubled.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, I hate to say it, but there's a huge difference between Mister NCAA and Mason Smith, but
Yeah.
um, still kind of unfair if you think about it. Or maybe the rules had just changed since then, and maybe it was fair. But regardless, at the time, you shouldn't have been doing that. Sucks for you. You got caught. Now you gotta, not play a game. So, do I think? I mean, could they have, just not done anything? Absolutely. Do I think they probably should have done anything? I don't think they should have because it's pointless. Like I said, like in this day, like I said, NIL is a thing now. Like, why do you even care? It's not like this dude just made millions off of his own name. Boo hoo. Probably made like thousands, if anything.
Yeah. I mean,
So,
th- look, yes, he should have been smarter about it in a sense like shouldn't have done it until it became officially legal. But the NCAA continues to be a joke. Honestly, I mean,
hmm
it really just doesn't fit the crime at this point. Like the punishment does not fit the crime. Eh, You go on the weekend anywhere in Baton Rouge and you see LSU players signing autographs now for money. I mean, what's the difference in that in 2 years ago?
I mean, there is no difference other than I guess what rules were in place, which I guess is the difference. Like I said, it
Yeah,
sucks the
like I
timing
said,
of it. So,
I get it, but
Yeah,
I
it's
don't know.
pointless. I mean, it really just doesn't
Like
make any sense.
the punishment coming out now is just kind of what gets me, I guess. Like if it would have been 2 years ago and they would have said, "Well, he was signing before it was officially legal," I get it. But it took 2 years to do this.
Yeah, there's no way a whole investigation took that long. I mean,
No.
didn't you say Booty got suspended for the same thing? I don't know. Like I
Yes,
said, yeah,
Boutte got
time's
suspended a
over.
game last year, but he had to sit out an entire year for injury. Like, look, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah, me neither.
NCAA is a joke. That's all I know. I would love if Brian Kelly just said screw you NCAA and just trotted him out there.
Yeah, then LSU gets suspended. Just the whole
Yeah,
team. Only walk-ons would be allowed to play their next game.
who's stopping him from coming out?
Stopping who
NCAA
from?
doesn't make the rankings.
That's fair. I mean, now you're thinking like Roy Johnson from Bishop Sycamore. I like
I
it.
guess I am. Yeah. Dang.
You're like, oh, OSHA ain't got nothing. I hate how he kept saying OSHA
I know.
because it didn't even make sense. Because it was
OHSAA.
OHSAA. He kept saying OSHA. Like, what are you like? Are you stupid?
Yeah. Oh, OSHA doesn't have any rules on high school football teams. Yeah, I wonder why. Maybe it's because they're a safety company.
Yeah, I mean that's. I don't think he realized what he was saying. He said it about 10 times, dude. It was like the third time he said it, I was like on my knees, begging my fist on the ground, just begging him to stop. OSHA, 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 OSHA. I was like, oh, dude, please,
I know. I was more or
please.
less like listening to it in the vehicle today, and like when he kept saying it, I almost just wanted to drive my truck off like off the twin span,
Yeah, yeah. I
right into
don't
Lake
blame you, but
Pontchartrain.
I do not blame you. But yeah, poor Mason Smith. He'll be missed for LSU in week one, but yeah, I guess that is what it is. NCAA, you still continue to suck. That's why Reggie Bush is suing you. Hopefully Mason Smith does the same.
Yep. Just really a massive loss for LSU, but we'll move on. We'll move on.
Womp womp.
Yep. Womp womp.
Yeah, we can move on to UFC if you'd like.
Yeah.
That sound good? All right, little by
I'm good
split
with it.
decision. We can quickly run through some of these fights. Like I know we got to cover this and week 0 for college football. So, yeah, if you'd like, we can get started right now.
Yeah. I'm good with it.
All
Now,
right.
I don't know the exact. I was going off the app on my phone. I don't know if I have the right order or not of the fights. So, is the
I guess
first
it
fight
doesn't.
Choi versus Aaron's?
Yes. All right, moving on to our by split decision, where me and Peyton give our predictions for UFC pay per views and fight nights. Moving on to the Max Holloway versus Korean Zombie fight night, which is going to be in Singapore. So, if you're in the United States and you want to watch it, you got to wake up early. I know it's like 5 a.m. Central Time. So, um, yeah, should be a really good card all around, actually. I think, um, there's going to be a lot of high level of competition. Let me put it like this: it's going to be a lot of competitiveness in between fights. So I think most of the opponents are properly matched up. I think there's a couple of bad mismatches on this
Oh yeah.
card, but it is what it is. Not every fight can be perfect. But we'll move on to the first fight. Um, got Sungwoo Choi versus Jarno Aaron's. I do have the odds on here too, by the way, via DraftKings. Not too long, a few hours ago. So, but obviously, odds are subject to change. Choi a minus 155 favorite at Aaron's a plus 130 underdog. So yeah. Long story short, I got Choi via decision. I can see this going either way though, because lately Choi he's been getting knocked down pretty often recently. His takedown defense is pretty suspect, but to his a good side of him, I should say, is that he has really good volume and power. I mean, he's no Max Holloway, but like I said, the volume and power is something you want to see of someone who, someone who gets knocked down pretty easily, you'd like them to be able to do the same to other people, and he does do that. He has done that. He's knocked down several people several times. Uh, and lucky for Choi, I don't think Aaron's doesn't have the best volume or power. Uh, Aaron's is going to be shooting for takedowns, right? But like I said, I think Choi's takedown defense has been steadily improving. It's not the best, but I think it's going to be enough to stop Aaron's attempts. So yeah, that's why I got Choi via decision. I think it's going to be a close fight. Most of these are going to be close fights. I'm not. There's maybe two or three that I'm 100% confident in that I'd lay money on, but most of them I'm like, yeesh, it's could definitely go either way. But it's no fun unless we put out predictions. So those are my thoughts on the first fight.
Yeah. So obviously Choi's last lost his last three fights. And he's got a lot of power, and it seems to me like he has a lot of drive. He has a lot of heart, if you will. His technique just isn't as good as Aaron's. Um,
I know you're not quoting the freaking that rock song, the one he where he rapped. It's about drive. It's about power.
the Rock,
Yeah,
no. Um,
it's about drive.
Aaron's
It's
though,
about power. We
I
stay
think he's
hungry. We
just
devour.
I, I think he's just gonna overwhelm Choi with a lot of pressure. He's a high volume striker. He has a large gas tank. He hadn't been knocked out. Although he does lack on the defensive end, I think he does get it done against Choi. Um, I think I mean, it's matched up well, but I think the skill level of both of these fighters is exactly what you would expect from the first night fight of the night. It's just going to be a sloppy fight, but I do think Aaron's gets the win via decision.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think this will actually be a decently competitive fight.
No, I
I
think it'll
think
be competitive.
they're very well matched up. I don't. I wouldn't call them sloppy. I think, like I said, they both have their strengths and weaknesses. Aaron's, I will disagree with you a little bit. I don't think he has the best volume. I think you're going to see Choi is probably going to be putting a little bit more volume out there than Aaron's. For at
No, he
least from
won't.
the fights I've seen, I don't think Aaron's has the best volume out there.
No, he
But
won't. I'm saying right now, whatever I say is literal like a fact. I've never been wrong in my life.
fair enough.
Like
Fair enough.
even when I had COVID, or let me
Mm-hmm.
rephrase that. When I tested positive for COVID, I said no, I didn't, and they said, okay, yeah, you're
I
right.
said, oh, yeah, now that you mention it.
Now that you mention it, your body fights off COVID like we've never seen before.
It's amazing. But yeah, it should be. I think it should be a good fight, and I think it's actually a pretty good fight to start off the card. I think there's probably a few fights on here a lot worse than this one will be. Once again, I'm not the biggest fan of Aaron's, but I think you know I think it's going to be a good fight. Uh, I'm not sure if
Yeah,
someone's going
like
to get starched. It's definitely going to be Choi, but yeah, I definitely got this fight going the distance. I think Choi's going to hopefully survive. He's been really weird lately. He was super solid when he first came to the UFC. Then he's on this like weird 3 fight skid where
yeah.
it's just strange the way
Man, I
he's
feel
kind of
like that's
fallen
a
off. But
common
I think
theme with a
Aaron's is
lot
a
of
good
fighters on this card.
opponent for him. Yeah, yeah. Oh, I have to look and see. Jog my memory. But speaking of other fights on this card, we can move on to the next one, which will probably no, this won't be the least interesting fight on the card. I think there's a couple other sicko fights, but yeah, Nali Yang, a plus 390 underdog versus JJ Aldrich, a minus 520 favorite. Yeah, women's MMA, obviously a super lopsided fight as far as the odds are concerned. Um, yeah, I mean Nali Yang is strange. Uh, Yeah, this just isn't a good matchup for her. I'm a big Aldrich fan. Obviously she hasn't looked the best in her past 2 fights. Blanche. I think a loss to Blanchfield is nothing to hang your head about. But I think having a unanimous decision loss against Lipsky probably isn't the best look. A fight that you probably should have won. But now you're coming into a fight that is heavily in your favor, and I think you'll probably do justice if you're JJ Aldrich. Um, I don't, Aldridge doesn't have, power or great volume, but to her advantage, Liang has probably the worst gas tank you'll see in a women's MMA fighter. She's maybe got 2 minutes, 3 minutes in her. So,
Sounds just like
obviously, if
me.
you're if you're JJ Aldrich, you got maybe you get to survive the first half of the first round, and then after that, it's all yours. It went. Last fight I remember seeing Now Liang. I believe it was the last fight, but I think what happened. Her corner couldn't come to the fight for some reason or another. They got held back by by customs, I believe. Uh, Regardless, the Korean Zombie was there and was able to like be her corner for her. But I think after the first, maybe the second round, like the fight, she was like on the ground, right, and she's just not getting up, and like Korean Zombie had to get in there and like drag her to the corner, and the refs looking at her the whole time like, it's probably in my best interest to stop this fight. He didn't, and she ended up getting knocked out soon thereafter. So yeah, moral of the story is yeah, terrible gas tank. I don't see how she wins this fight going against Aldrich, who, like I said, is not known for her power or anything. But it wouldn't surprise me if hope maybe this time the fight does get stopped. Actually, I take that back. It's Singapore. I think the judges and the refs are going to want to see this through. Even if that means death to Liang. So yeah, give me Aldrich by decision.
Yep. So I do have Eldritch winning. I have her winning by second round TKO. I think from ground and pound. Um, Liang, dude, she that like this is what I'm saying, dude. She started in the UFC on a 5 fight win streak. Um, Let me rephrase that. She entered the UFC riding a 5 fight win streak, and she hadn't won since. She's basically armbar bust. If she doesn't get the armbar, it's over for her. And she hasn't even been able to put away poor grapplers in her previous fights. Um, Aldrich is just going to neutralize the grappling. It's going to be a rebound fight for her. She's way more technical than Liang. Aldrich by second round TKO.
Yeah, it
And I
should
don't think
be.
it's gonna be close. Just like the
Yeah,
odds say.
I don't think it's gonna be close either. I think unfortunately for Liang, and I think she's got some serious knockout power. I think she's knocked out. I'm just gonna take a wild guess. I think every single knockout she has, I don't know how many she has, but they probably all come in the first round. Um, and also to that point, she's probably anything she's got probably is coming in the first round. I don't see, you know, it's her. She's weird. She's weird. I mean, it's first round or nothing for her. So, like I said, it wouldn't surprise me to see her get knocked out. But after seeing the last fight, I'm just going to guess that the judges really want to drag this out. Then Liang's going to be, mincemeat, but she's still going to be standing in there. So, yeah, should be a good fight for Aldridge. Definitely a like you said, a good bounce back. This is UFC feeding a victim to her. Moving on to the third prelim of the night, we got Billy Goff, a plus 114 underdog, going up against Yusaku Kinoshita, minus 135 favorite. Very close fight as far as the odds are concerned. Let me get this pulled up in Tapology really quick. But yeah, very close fight as far as the odds are concerned. Um, I think this is going to be a. I think this is going to be one of those fights that should be very interesting. Should be a close fight because I think, I say close. I think it's going to be an entertaining fight because I think one way or another, someone's going to get their lights shut out. Um, I think this fight does not go the distance. Billy Goff, he's kind of weird, just like last week. I know we were talking about Vera. In the first round, he's just very weird. Never wins the first round. Goff is the same way, except Goff is even more sketchy. He's getting knocked down. He's getting hurt bad, wobbling. Looks like he's lost. And he has, his. It's weird because after the first round, he's fine. So I wouldn't say his chin is god awful, but it sure is questionable because it's like he gets stunned, but he recovers better than anyone I've seen. And all of his wins are like come from behind. And man, it is it's fun. It's fun to watch this guy fight. Look, as far as Kinoshita is concerned, I know he lost. He lost recently against someone. I forgot who, but someone he should have knocked out, but then he got knocked out instead. But Kinoshita has great power. He's probably going to be the hardest hitter that Goff has had to face, which is bad news for Goff because like I said, I mean, the first round he's getting rocked, and he just comes forward. I think he even said in an interview, I think he plans to try and take Kinoshita down. I don't think that's going to happen. I think this is going to be stand and bang by both of them. I think both of them are going to go forward, and it's probably not going to be pretty. It's going to be like two 18-wheelers running head on to each other. Like I said, one way or another, someone's getting finished, and I want to have Goff finishing Kinoshita. Give me some underdog action here. I got Goff by knockout. I'm not sure what round. Like I said, either way, someone gets knocked out, and I'm just gonna say, Goff is gonna, you know, have another one of his spectacular fights where he just, he gets rocked by Kinoshita, and he gets rocked bad. Like I said, most powerful fighter he's faced, but all of a sudden just comes out of nowhere and just comes back and knocks Kinoshita out. Um, so yeah, give me Goff via knockout. Not too confident in it, but I just like the prospect of him coming back and getting yet another win via, how did you do that knockout?
Yeah, I disagree with your prediction, but I do agree with a lot of what you said about the two of them. Um, I do think one thing that could pose trouble for Kinoshita is Goff does have a solid wrestling game. I'm not saying it's great, but it's solid. Um, because Kinoshita was a heavy favorite in his last fight, and he got finished on the ground by a okay wrestler. Um, but like you said, Goff is going to get hurt early in the fight. I think Kinoshita is going to finish him in the first. Once he hurts him, I think he's going to finish him. He has more. I mean, he's got the tools to be a legitimate guy in the division. I think.
Oh yeah, no, Kinoshita's legit, and I think like I said, I think it's in his benefit that he's very powerful for the welterweight division. And like I say, Goff has yet to fight anyone as powerful as Kinoshita, and I mean, I don't know. Like I said, it's weird because like the last fight wasn't pretty, but like I said, Kinoshita I think still is the better fighter. I hate to call fight results flukes. That's almost what it felt like. But
Oh yeah, no, I mean you can definitely say that. I don't mean to call Leon Edwards beating Usman a fluke, but in the first fight it was a fluke. I mean he landed one head kick. Granted, he set it up beautifully, but a lot of things have to go right there.
yeah, and then on top of this, Billy Golf had to travel to Singapore on top of doing a weight cut. So I mean, you don't really know how these things affect fighters. I didn't catch. I know the weigh-ins already happened because like I said, it's
Yeah.
starting at a weird time. So I say starting at a weird time for them. They probably weighed in normally, but to us, I got the weigh-in. I'm getting Twitter notifications saying that the weigh-in results are in, but I haven't, like I said, seen them. It's just kind of weird. But yeah, it should be a very fun fight. Like I said, if Golf is going to go down, it's going to be in the first round, like every other fight. But like I said, Kinoshita probably has the best chance out of anyone Golf has faced to actually shut the lights out completely, rather than like leaving the light switch like halfway down.
Yep.
So should
That's
be a
what
fun one to
that's
watch.
kind of why I have Kinoshita winning in the first by TKO, of course.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, move on to yet another prelim. Keenan Song, a plus 240 underdog, going up against Rolando Bedoya, a minus 298 favorite. Obviously, as the odds imply, kind of a decent sized gap right there as far as what odds makers think is going to happen here. And yeah, I'm with them. I'm completely with them. Bedoya, fun to watch. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure he knows what striking defense is. He's one of the guys who just takes hits and just smiles at you. He's got Max Holloway type toughness. Um, you know, he's young. He hasn't been knocked out. He's not going to be knocked out. I don't think anytime soon. Like I said, he's got age on his side, and is the dude an idiot? Sure, but like I said, he's not going to get knocked out. And then on top of that, he himself has great power. And he fought Chaos. Let me
Yeah, KF
see. Yeah, he
Williams.
fought Chaos, and yeah, that was a close fight. That was a close fight. That wasn't too long ago, actually. That fight could have gone either way. I believe it was a split decision. You go figure with the judges. But yeah, he actually against Chaos Williams, he actually did really well. I was very impressed. On the
A lot
flip
of
side, Keenan
people
Song,
were calling that a robbery, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, I'm not sure, but like I mean, I was impressed. I'm a big Chaos fan, so I'm not
Oh,
gonna
yeah, me too.
say
Love
one way or
it.
the other. And I do love Bedoya too. But anyways, Keenan Song, I say he's getting older. He's getting up there. I think he's like in his lower 30s now, like 32, 33, 34, somewhere around there. So yeah, he's higher in age. Like I said, Bedoya, very tough chin. Even though Song has decent power, he's not going to be knocking out Bedoya. So there goes one method of victory. You're not going to be submitting Bedoya. Uh, and on top of that, you look at Song's recent results. What's happening? He's getting knocked out. That's what's happening. That's the last thing you want to be, be having happen to you as you're getting older in a division full of not powerhouses but powerful people. And now you're going up against someone who is, I mentioned earlier, 18 wheelers, but I guess this dude's more of a tank. He just doesn't care what's in front of him. He just always advances. I say you're going to hit him. He's just going to smile back at you and just hit you like twice as hard. So yeah, give me Bedoya by I'm going to say second round knockout. Let me see. Yeah, second round knockout. Why not? I think Bedoya probably gets it done. I don't know what round, but it's going to be a knockout, and it's Song's going to be getting frustrated in there, and Bedoya is going to see his opportunity and take advantage of it.
Yeah, and wait, is it Keenan versus Bedoya?
Keenan, Keenan Song versus Rolando Bedoya.
Oh, God, I had just my bad. I thought that was his last
Keenan
name.
Thompson. Well,
No,
it's weird. It's
yeah,
weird for
yeah,
them because it's really Song Keenan or something like that. But
right. But I think they do because they
but
read
for
from right to
us,
left.
yes. But like
So
for us,
yeah,
it's just Keenan Song.
yeah. So you saying song just kind of threw me off for a second. I'm sorry. Um, so I do think Song he stands a chance. I mean, got a really good finish rate and a very balanced finish rate at that. He has 9 knockouts, 8 submissions. Obviously balanced there. He almost finished Ian Gary. Would have shocked the world had he done it, but he almost finished Ian Gary back in March. However, I don't think he beats Bedoya. Bedoya is still a work in progress, of course, but he's getting there. Defense is lacking, but like you said, he has a super, super, super solid chin. I mean, he survived a lot of punishment from Chaos Williams, and he has a ridiculous cardio advantage over Song. So I do have the fight going to decision. I think. I'm sorry. I think Bedoya does end up winning by decision.
Yep, should be a good fight. And like I said, I'd hate for any of these fights to go to decision because unfortunately, like I said, you're in a specific area of the world going up against a specific fighter. It's gonna be you're gonna have the fingers crossed, everything crossed really that hometown favorites don't just pull away here with these. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not going to shock me if there's going to be some robberies here, but I do think this is one of the few cards in the year where like almost every fight is liable for a finish one way or another. But yeah, I think regardless, Bedoya is going to be landing the more powerful shots. So yeah, it should be look better in the judges' eyes as well. So moving on to our next prelim, I believe we're still on the prelims, right? Where are we at? We are on the fifth prelim. Yep, fifth prelim. Yeah, we got. Let me go back to it so I can see the odds. We got Chidi and Jaquani minus 108. This is really a pick 'em, so I'm not going to say favorite or underdog. Yeah, he's a slight underdog for what it counts. Going up against Mikhail let me see, Alexei Zhek. Yep, minus 112. It's a pick 'em for good reason. Um, yeah, so we look back at Chidi's past fights. Obviously 2 fight skid for what that's worth. But before that, he was looking excellent. Uh, and I mean, even in the Rodriguez fight, he had his moments. He ended up losing that fight, but then this most recent fight going up against Duraev, I mean, he looked like dog water. He didn't look anywhere like himself. Like it just looked like one of those fights where you just show up for the check. I don't know if like something happened between weigh-ins and the fight, and he just like just straight up wasn't feeling himself. but it is what it is. On the flip side, Mikal, he's moving down a weight class. Last I checked, um, great volume, great volume. He does an excellent job mixing it up. And on top of that, he has a great chin. Just kind of like Bedoya, he all he knows how to do is just move forward. He holds forward on the joystick and mixes it up very well. Will get you in the head, get you in the body, and like I say, he's gonna have a great chin. Um, Thankfully, I think this is gonna be another banger. I doubt either of these fighters are gonna look for takedowns. Neither one of them are takedown masters. Someone's gonna get their lights shut out, and it's hard. I rarely do this, but I hate to look at this from a physique standpoint, but I'm going to because, um, looking at Tapology, Mikal says he is 6 foot. That's not right. You know, I don't know who measured his height. I don't. That must have been like self-reported or something because that's not right. He's probably shorter than me. He's probably like 5'10", 5'11" at most. And like I said, you're going down a weight class on top of this. I don't know, kind of weird. But like I said, I'm going to look at this from a physique standpoint and give me the guy who has a 6 inch reach advantage and probably he's going to have a half a foot height advantage. Like Cheaty's going to be towering over McCall. Um, and like I say, even though Cheaty's, I hate to, oh god, the last fight was so bad. His last fight was so bad, but I'm going to take him to win here against McCall. But strictly just based on physique, I see this fight going either way. I think regardless, I doubt this goes the distance. Like I said, someone's getting starched, and I'm going to be on the guy who's going to look like a monster in the octagon. So give me Cheaty via knockout in the first round.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Alexei Czech, dude, I feel like this on paper, really, the fight shouldn't even be close. I think Alexei Czech has some troubles with. I don't even know if he like his drive, his determination with being in the UFC. I don't know that he necessarily wants to fight anymore. It almost seems like he gave up in that last fight, like you kind of hit on earlier. Um, but dude, I mean, he has ridiculous knockout power. 13 out of his 14 stoppages have come via KO. He's 18-6 and he has 14 stoppages. Dude's good, man. Like he's a very good fighter, but dude, like I said, his heart, his his drive, it can be questioned. Wait, oh no, I'm oh no, I'm reading about it.
Yeah, I was supposed to say,
Um,
I didn't want to interrupt you, but yeah, I was talking about Cheaty earlier. His
yeah,
last fight
no,
definitely
I'm reading
didn't look
about
pretty.
Chidi. Yeah, I'm sorry, I haven't swapped up. I'm sorry.
Unbelievable.
Um, yeah, I know. So in Chidi, he's lost his last two, but he is much bigger. But like I just said, his heart can be questioned. Alexei Czech, he is susceptible to submissions. However, I don't think that's necessarily going to be a thing to watch for here in this fight. But man, I don't know. This, like I said, this fight really shouldn't be close on paper. But and Chidi's power, his pressure could really trouble. Uh, and no,
McCall.
I'm sorry. Yes, no, his pressure could, dude. These names are throwing me off too. Alessi checks power. I mean pressure could irritate and Chidi, and I think that's why the fight on like the odds is kind of close. Plus, like you said, and Chidi just looked terrible in his last fight.
Yeah, Cheaty's yeah, like I said, definitely a little sketched out. The odds should be a lot bigger than this if Cheaty had showed up his last fight, but I think since he didn't, I think people are kind of banking on that. I think that's why the odds are also. I'm not sure what the odds opened up as. I have a feeling Cheaty may have been a favorite, or maybe not. What do I know? But yeah, I think McCall. I think they both have their routes to win. Like I said, I think someone's getting knocked out. I mean, you could seriously flip a coin between these two. It's
Yeah,
it's gonna be a fun fight to watch. Like I
I
said,
do have
I'm
Chidi
literally
winning
just
by.
taking. Yeah, I'm literally just taking the guy who's taller and has a bigger reach. Like I said, he's not going to put more pressure on Mikal than Mikal's going to put on Chidi. But I don't know. Like I said, just give me the guy who has a bigger reach. I guess. I mean, I don't know. I just know I'm going to like watching it.
Yep, absolutely, it's going to be a banger.
And speaking of bangers, we have
Oh
one
yeah.
that should be fun to watch. Let me get pulled up on Tapology. I mean, this should almost be on the main card. Um, well, I think I know why it's not on the main card, but anyways, moving on to another prelim. Toshiyami Kazama, a plus 136 dog going up against Garrett Armfield, minus 162 favorite. So odds are pretty close here. Take a look back at Kazama's past performances. Um, hey, he's looking. I mean, he's looking pretty good. 3-2 in his last five. Uh, you lose against Nakamura via knockout. No shame in that. No shame whatsoever. Nakamura is he's going to quickly rise through his division and do his thing. But that's beyond the point. Um, I think, like I said, Kazama had a tough debut opponent, so I guess that's making him look a little bit bad. But beyond that, I think he has good ground game, great wrestling. I think he's going to be very dangerous on the mat. And to his advantage, Garrett Armfield sucks on the mat. And he loves getting taken down for some reason. I say he loves it mainly just because he can't defend takedowns. I'm not sure if he actually likes it or not because, um, I think most of his losses come by submission. Sucks for you going up against someone who has good submission offense, great on the mat, loves to be on the mat. Um, Also, to your advantage, though, like I say, Kazama getting starched in his last fight is a good look for you because, as Garrett Armfield, you're pretty powerful, but your volume is concerned. I wish Armfield had a little bit higher volume, and I probably would have chosen to win. But since he doesn't, I'm going to have Kazama taking him down. I'm not sure how much he's going to take him down, but I think he's. I mean, unless Armfield is like significantly improved, I just didn't realize it. I think Kazama's just going to get takedowns whenever he wants. I predict him landing probably, 60, 70% of his takedowns, and he's going to find a submission in one of those. So give me Kazama via submission as an underdog in round three. Give me the third round submission.
Yeah, I agree with literally everything you said. I know Kazama has a pretty unique style. Um, can be a good thing and a bad thing at times, but yeah, he has a legitimate submission game that like you hit on. And Armfield's biggest weakness is his wrestling. And last fight he got manhandled by a pure striker on the mat. So uh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I don't see this going well for Armfield. I know he has some power to back it up, and I know he's a favorite, but I do have Kazama by a first round submission.
Yeah, like I said, the odds are a little weird here. I mean, I guess I see the knockout power. I see why Armfield is at an advantage, but I mean, like I said, um, he's no Nakamura. I guess I'll say that, and which is who Kazama get lost by knockout too. So yeah. Anyways, moving on to the first of our couple heavyweight prelims here. We got Waldo Cortez Acosta, a minus 238 favorite, going up against Lucas Bresky, a plus 195 dog.
Luca Brasi.
Yeah, the Luca Brasi tapes. Um, you know, first looked up Luca Bresky, and I was impressed because the pictures that are popping up of him, this dude's massive, and I'm like, ooh, I'm like, how have I never heard of this dude? And yeah, sure enough, he was doping. So that's why he looked massive. And they took away the one win he had. Like I think he won by submission in the contender series, and then they said, yeah, so yeah, you can't do PEDs, buddy. And ever since then, they took his win away. I think they like, counted as a no contest or a draw or something, and now he hasn't won since then. Granted, he's only had two fights since then. Um, Decently active. So, what's going wrong with him? Um, his stamina, I think, is a big issue. And you know me, I hate choosing someone who has stamina issues. It's
Yeah,
and it's weird because he's one of the few people who can actually power through his issues. But I mean, man, he looks like crap out there. If I'm a judge and I'm seeing that, I'm like, I'm not impressed. I don't care who you're going up against. I'm not impressed by it. But to his advantage, even though he looks like a stereotypical heavyweight now, not this jacked, thing of beauty. He's good all around. I don't necessarily hate the guy. I think he's a good wrestler, but you're going up against WCA. Cortez Acosta, um, I don't know. Hitting his prime, I don't know. I know a lot of people love this guy, and you lose against DeLima, and I think the game plan for DeLima was pretty clear because you have a pretty big hole in your game, and that's defending leg kicks,
Mm-hmm.
and you can't defend takedowns either. Your ground game sucks, well, I say it sucks, but your ground game isn't where it should be. Granted, you're a heavyweight, so I mean, is the ground game really a huge concern? I mean, against some fighters it is, others it isn't. I think this is a fight where you shouldn't be concerned. Uh, I think just because Waldo is going to have the better stamina, he's just going to look a lot better round around around. So I have him winning 30-27, unanimous decision. Yeah, give me Waldo Cortez Acosta via decision. Could a robbery happen? Sure, because this is my this is my Sicko fight of the night. By the way, I have a special little sticker on it. The Sicko fight. Um, yeah, I hate and it's a heavyweights, man, hit or miss, and this is definitely going to be one of those missed fights where I don't mind. I'm not going to mind waking up early for this card. I'm going to definitely take a nap during this fight probably. So, but yeah, give me Cortez Acosta via decision against Lucas.
Yep. Have the same thing. Cortez Acosta via decision. Uh, I guess again, man, dude, we must be having the same scouting reports and everything because I mean, not that it's difficult because the Lima chewed this dude's legs up, but again, that is the biggest hole in his game. Um, if Bresky is smart, he's just gonna chew up his legs. But for Bresky, you just can't trust him in a fight. Sometimes he's a little, I don't know. He just doesn't do some. Sometimes like what you think is obvious, he's gonna do the opposite. So I just don't trust him. I don't trust him to chew up Cortez Acosta's legs, and I do think Cortez Acosta is a little bit of a better striker. He's a little bit more polished. So that's not saying much.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. So you got WCA via decision as
Yeah.
well.
Yes.
All right, cool. All right, moving on to another heavyweight fight. Should be a little bit more competitive. We got Junior Tafa, a minus 142 favorite, going up against Parker Porter, plus 120 dog. Um,
Got that
yeah,
dog
so
and
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Uh, man, man. Yeah, I'm not another heavyweight fight that sadly I'm not really looking forward to. I know Parker Porter's got a huge fan base behind him. He's got his own fan club and everything. I like the guy too. Also like Junior Tafa. Shoot. Yeah, Tafa has a pretty big hole in his game. We saw it against Usman. I'm sorry. Let me be clear here. Muhammad Usman.
yeah, not the good one.
Heavyweights here. We're talking about holes in people's games, staying on that track. Junior Tafa, this dude's ground game, takedown defense, non-existent. I'm not sure he's trained it a single day in his life. I mean, maybe he changed. Yeah, when he first got into MMA, he like trained it for a day. He's, oh no, I just want to focus on my power. And I was like, okay, that's cool and all, bro. Like I said, heavyweight division. Who am I to say that you really need to have a good ground game or takedown defense to survive in that division? You really don't have to, but it's good to have. Unfortunately for Tafa, he doesn't have it. But like kind of touched on earlier, to your advantage, I mean, you have some of the best power in the division. You have some of the best boxing, kickboxing in the division, and you also have a very durable chin. Those are all three pretty big check marks you want to check off if you're in the heavyweight division. And on the Porter side, unfortunately, he doesn't really check any of those boxes. His stand-up game not too hot. Doesn't He looks sloppy out there. He's more of a takedown or bust kind of guy. I say or bust, but he's definitely gonna be looking for takedowns, and yeah, he can probably get him against Tafa. But I'm gonna say they're gonna stand up on the feet longer than Porter's gonna be comfortable for. Tafa's gonna catch Porter. I got Tafa winning via knockout in the first round because I know I didn't mention it. I don't even think it needs to be said, but Porter has a god awful chin. Um, I mean, it's terrible. I think like I said, every loss he has been by finish, and I think Tafa is going to be able to get a finish here. So yeah, Tafa via knockout first round.
Yep. Agree with pretty much everything you said. Power puncher for Tafa. He's either gonna finish Porter earlier, or Porter's gonna drag him on the ground and beat him up on the ground and win, but I don't see that happening. Uh, Porter though is decently skilled for a heavyweight. I just don't see it mattering. Tafa's gonna knock him out quick.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, like I said, heavyweight division. Like I said, there's certain check boxes you want to check. Porter doesn't hit them. Tafa does. So I'm going to go. And I know the odds are pretty close on him, and I guess I can see why. But like I said, I think Tafa's going to catch Porter in there. And like I said, hopefully Tafa learned against his last fight against Usman what to do, what to work on. And like I said, maybe we'll see. We'll see improvements. If I'm not mistaken, I think he's decently. I don't know his age actually, so I'm not going to speak on it. But I want to say he hasn't hit his prime yet. He's still learning on the fly, doing his thing. But moving on to another main card. I didn't mention it, but that last fight I believe was the beginning of our main card. So we're on the main card now. It's probably around 7 a.m. You're still groggy, but we actually have an entertaining women's MMA fight. Believe your eyes. Blanchfield minus 148 favorite going up against Talia Santos, a plus 124 dog. Yeah, so this is a flyweight division. It's gonna be so. This is like I said. I mean, hate to say I'm looking forward to a women's MMA fight, but man, this is actually. I think most people will probably agree. This is like the fan fight of the night, which is like crazy to say, but I mean, women's MMA. It's not usually not competitive, but this one's gonna be very competitive. Um, People are gonna be making their sides clear. I know. I think everyone's probably like a fan of both of these fighters, but you got to plant your flag somewhere as as a predictor. Long story short, I'm going to plant my flag on the Blanchfield side. I know a lot of people are, but am I confident in the decision? Absolutely not, because I think both these fighters have very similar. I'm sorry, very similar skill sets. Um, I think Blanchfield's going to be an eventual champion in this division. I have high hopes for her. I mean, I do Santos too, and obviously everyone knows her stocks are flying up because of her last fight against Shevchenko, where everyone, and I probably agree with everyone that she probably should have won. Granted, that was a year ago, so what have you done since then? We haven't seen you fight in a while. Um, I think Blanchfield could probably beat Shevchenko too. So I mean, I'm not saying Shevchenko is the benchmark to set here to determine if you're a good fighter or not. Because like I said, I think Blanchfield would probably beat her, just like Santos probably should have beat her. Um, I'll take that, but I'll reword it. Santos, I believe, did beat her. Judges didn't think so. Anyways, like I said, it's been a while since we've seen her fight. Give me Blanchfield. You're a little bit more active. I have higher hopes for her. Like I said, I'm not. I mean, she's improving every single fight I watch. I watch of her, and still very young, very. I mean, 24 years old, and just like flying through the division. So, yeah, I'm going to go with the. I'm going to plant my flag on the Blanchfield hype train. So, give me Blanchfield via decision.
Yeah. It is a super super exciting fight. Um, like you said, not often that we get to say that about women's fighting, but again, agree with most everything you said. Blanchfield via decision is my pick as well.
Nice, nice. Okay, and move on. I'm not going to. This isn't a sicko fight of the night. It's the sickos of this fight are the people who made this fight. Rinya Nakamura minus 800 favorites versus Fernie Garcia plus 550 dog. Who? Garcia, man. Unfortunately, this is one of those fights that the UFC makes in order to make another fighter look good. And I think obviously the fighter they're trying to make look good here is the one who's as of now undefeated. Will be fighting
They
in
wouldn't
his,
do something like that.
yeah, yeah, UFC no, but he's fighting. I guess loosely what you'd call home territory. And Rinya Nakamura. Uh Great fighter. I mean, Nakamura is a fantastic fighter. I touched on him earlier, going when he went up against Kazama, knocked him out. Like I said, I think I'd have high hopes for Nakamura. I think he's going to be a competitor in the bantamweight division. soon enough. And like I said, I think the UFC is also trying to trying to drive that point home by feeding him Garcia. Because, I mean, Garcia is he the worst? Absolutely not. But no, you lose to a decision against Brady Haystand, and now you're going up against a Brady Haystand level 100. Um, you know, so what do? You can't. Garcia wins. I would be complete. I would be floored. I mean, it would be one of the biggest upsets of the year if Garcia can find a way to win this. But yeah. Long story short, give me Nakamura via knockout, via submission, via domination. It's really whatever he wants. It's going to be his day. But I got him via knockout. I'm going to say second round. His power is just next level. He's just great all around. Garcia loves to get hit. Even though he hasn't been knocked out, I think Nakamura is going to be able to.
Yeah, I mean, again, much of the same. There's a reason these odds aren't close. Uh, Nakamura's Nakamura's going to have his way with him and knock him out. Probably, I'll agree with you. I'll say second round as well.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's whatever Nakamura wants, whenever he wants. I think at least. I don't think this fight's going to be competitive at all. And like I said, UFC's making their stance clear about Nakamura. They think he's going to be, next level. I mean, look at the Sean O'Malley path to the championship. I mean, you can, don't hate to draw similarities between a champion and someone who isn't even ranked, but I mean, come on, let's put two and two together. This is the UFC, for God's sakes. Anyways,
Yeah,
moving
Sean
on.
O'Malley was obviously pushed to the championship. Look, he won the championship, so congrats to him. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's the
absolutely.
real
Like I
deal.
said, the UFC sets a path for these fighters. It's up to them to do their thing. But yeah, anyways, we'll move on to our fourth fight in the main card. We got Giga Chikadze versus Alex Caceres. What are their odds? Minus 238 for Giga, plus 195 for Alex. So, yeah, I know Giga had a huge hype train behind him. That was like 2 years ago. His last fight was like a year and a half ago against Calvin Guitar. Lou
Mm.
lost in decision. Uh,
Calvin Qatar, the one that's famous for his fight against Max Holloway, where Max Holloway proclaimed himself. We'll get there. Actually, we'll get there.
yeah, but and losing to Calvin Guitar via decision, not the best. I'm sorry, not the worst thing to happen to you,
No,
but
no.
and like I said, we're obviously I'm not hyping up Giga here, so you may be wondering why the odds are kind of pretty well separated. Uh, I think it's mainly just because I think Giga's competition he's fought is it's night and day compared to Alex Caceres. Don't get me wrong, Alex very tough, but he himself doesn't have much power. He's looked good in his past fights, but I mean, I couldn't tell you one guy he's fought. Um, couldn't tell you one guy he's fought recently. Whose name I actually know off the top of my head. I'm like, oh yeah, they're a good fighter. I really have no idea. I've never heard of any of these people. Grant, I mean, you're getting all your wins in the UFC, which is good. But like I said, I don't know who the heck you're beating. And like I said, watching your fights, I see there's a not a not a huge talent gap between these two fighters, but a decent enough size one for me to be like, okay, these odds make a little sense. Um, I think this fight probably goes to the decision. Give me Giga. I know we haven't seen him in a hot minute, but I think all his fans come out from under their rocks and start cheering him on again. And I think he gets another win via decision. Like I said, I think thankfully the level of competition Giga's fought is going to prove to be the deciding factor here. I think it's going to be that alone, just that experience, knowing what to do, is probably just going to get him the win here. Um, not to knock on Alex Caceres, but I think it's just a bad matchup for him at the end of the day. I'd hate to put someone who's fought level, like tier 5 opponents against someone who's fought tier 2, tier 1 opponents. I mean, that's just at the end of the day, it's just not fair. Even if you have the same fighting style, like I said, it just doesn't make much sense. So yeah, give me Giga via decision.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. Like when I first saw the odds, I was like, why are they? I mean, not that minus 230 is like a massive favorite, but I mean it's big enough to where like you can definitely tell it's not like there's definitely a favorite to win. Is aside when there's like minus 150 plus 125. I feel like they're like maybe this guy, maybe that guy. Like they're unsure when they're that
Mhm.
low. But at this point, I do feel like it's there's a clear cut favorite here. And at first, I was kind of confused as to why. But just like you said, I mean, the level of competition is just ridiculously different. So yeah, chick, whatever, by decision.
Mhm. Yeah. All right. Moving on to our co-main, Anthony Smith going up against Ryan Spann. Odds are pretty much pick him. Anthony Smith is a plus 110 underdog. Spann a minus 130 favorite. So these guys have actually fought before. I believe the result was Smith via
Smith winning.
submission.
Yep.
So, you know, yeah, good for you, Anthony Smith. That fight was 2 years ago. Things have changed for you. Um, I mean, you're taking the Michael Bisping route. You're like signed with the UFC, but for all the wrong reasons. You're not fighting anymore. You're in the booth, talking to other fighters. Um, so when you do fight, you look god awful. You got the Jessica Andrade syndrome. You just
Mm,
don't care about fighting anymore. I think the only thing you got Anthony Smith has going for him. Uh, I think I think he's got more talent than Ryan Spann, sure. But like I said, I mean, at the end of the day, you're an uninterested fighter. You're an uninterested fighter. Why would I choose you to win? And I'm not going to. It makes no sense to choose someone who has no interest in fighting anymore to win a fight. Um, like I said, I kind of touched on earlier. I hate to call fight results flukish, but I think that's kind of what the last fight between these two. That's kind of what happened. I think Spann, I think got caught with a hit, and he seemed in and out of it ever since then. And Smith was able to get the submission. I think this is probably Lionheart's last fight in the UFC. I think he retires after this and goes in the booth full time. Um, do I think he can knock out Ryan Spann again? I mean, sure. I say knock him out again, but stun him and get a knockout. Sure, I think his more realistic path to victory here is submission again. Uh But like I said, do I personally think that's going to happen? Probably not. I think Span has improved since the last time they fought. Span actually cares about fighting still. He's good all around. Like I said, if they were both in their primes and they both actually cared, I think Smith would probably be a heavier favorite here, like a minus like 200, 250 favorite. But man, no, I think odds makers kind of all over this. Anthony Smith, clear, you know, I say the clear favorite in terms of talent, but a clear underdog in terms of carrying, and that means way too much in the UFC. So yeah, give me Ryan Spann via knockout in the second round. I'm sorry, Lionheart's just taken way too much damage lately in his career, and like I say, he himself doesn't possess a ton of power. He was just lucky to catch Spann. So yeah, I think Spann gets his revenge, and since Anthony Smith out of the UFC, I'm sorry, out of the octagon, still in the UFC doing his thing, but yeah, I think so. Give me Spann via knockout.
yeah, I feel like this fight is kind of a fight for relevance at this point for both of these fighters too. So, but I do think Span wants a little bit more, like you said. So I'm gonna go Span by knockout.
All right, and moving on to our main event. The moment everyone's been waiting for, but unfortunately, not much to say about this. I'm going to have Max via knockout in the fifth round. I mean, Max Holloway doesn't have power at all. But after watching, the Korean Zombies' last few fights, let me say the odds here really quick too to give you an idea. Minus 800 for Max, plus 550 for the Korean Zombies. Not quite the biggest, difference. Actually, it ties for the biggest difference on the card for the fight that I said shouldn't have been even been sanctioned. So it goes to show you what odds makers think about this fight, and I agree with them. I think Max Holloway's volume, which is just superior to anyone you've ever seen, is just going to get the best of the Korean Zombie. And at this point in his career, I think he's going to wear too much damage, and the fight's going to have to be stopped one way or another. Whether he gets knocked out, whether the ref stops it, whether his corner throws in the towel. Um, I think the last fight for the Korean Zombie, or not his. Wait, was it his last fight against Volk?
Against Volk, yeah. Oof.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's also one of those fights that you probably just don't recover from. That's, I mean, reminiscent of Ferguson and Gaethje. Unfortunately, we know how Ferguson's career is, going downhill, and this is kind of how I see Korean Zombie's career going now too. I think, like I said, unfortunate for him, he's just taking too much damage in his career. And you're not going to knock out Max. You're not going to out volume Max. You're not going to take down Max. Um, you know, so how do you win if you're the Korean Zombie? You don't. You don't win. So yep, give me a Max via knockout. Like I said, Max doesn't have power, but I think, like I said, the volume's just going to be way too much for the Korean Zombie.
Yep, I wholeheartedly agree with pretty much everything you said. I mean, let's be real, man. Korean Zombie ain't the same guy he used to be. This fight's about 5 years too late. 5 years ago, I mean, this would have been like a fight that I'd salivate over. But now it's just like, man, come on, don't do that to the Korean Zombie. I think
Mm-hmm.
Korean Zombie. I mean, he doesn't do much to piss anybody off. I mean, I wouldn't say he's a fan favorite because he doesn't say much. But I mean, he's a good dude. Like he's an easy guy to root for when he's not fighting your favorite fighters like Max Holloway and Volkanovski. But he's kind of one of those guys that you're like, oh, hey, look, the Korean Zombie's fighting. He had a great career. I think this might be a retirement fight though. And it really sucks that it has to be against Max Holloway. Just solidified the CTE before retiring. But yeah. Look, Max Holloway's also lost a step. Let's be real with ourselves. I mean, he looked pretty poor against Volkanovski uh, in their last fight in the trilogy after being very very competitive the first two. Maybe that's Volk just getting better and better. Like we've grown accustomed to Volk to do. But I mean, look, Max isn't very young, and he's absorbed a lot of damage himself. But dude, he's never gonna forget how to box, man. Like this dude's one of the most exciting fighters in the UFC history. When you see a Max Holloway fight, it's must see TV.
You got to tune in.
Yeah, I mean, look, Max is one of the greatest of all time, dude. I love Max
Hmm.
Holloway. Um,
And he's fighting for his state that's on fire right now. So
yeah,
I mean, hey,
absolutely.
extra
Uh,
motivation.
and look, he's undefeated against featherweights, not named Volkanovski in the last decade. So, um, I mean, that's very impressive. If Volkanovski would have never been born, Max Holloway might be the goat, goat fighter. But look, man, I love Holloway. And I love the Korean Zombie. I'm happy this fight was made, but I'm not happy that it was made now. I wish it was made 5 years ago, like I said earlier. Korean Zombie's going to lose. It's not going to be pretty. Um, I, it really sucks because I do like the Korean Zombie, dude.
Hmm.
It's going to suck to just see him get his face pounded in.
Yeah.
I think everybody knows this is coming, except for the one guy at work today that told me he put $100 on a 4 leg parlay involving the Korean Zombie beating Max Holloway. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I told him, I said, you might as well just give me that $100, because that
He might
ain't
as well
that,
just
that
put.
ain't happening, bro.
He might as well just put it out in front of you, just lit it on fire, and not even said anything. Just looked you dead in the eyes as he did it.
I mean, look, Shane, if you listening to this, bro, I don't know what you were thinking.
Shame on you, Shane.
I'm in awe that you even decided that was a good thing, a smart idea to even say that out loud. I mean, come on, bro, that
Even if
shit
you're
ain't happening.
joking,
We know
yeah,
that.
no, yeah. I mean, even if you're joking, like you can't. That's just. I mean, come on.
Yeah. So
Okay, we gotta draw
now
the
I
line
will.
somewhere.
Yeah, I'll say this. Look, the parlay would cash out $3,000 off of 100, but I mean, we know that ain't happening.
that
Like that Mike
ain't gonna
Tomlin
happen.
meme.
Yeah.
Y'all know that ain't happening. So,
Yep. Exactly. Exactly.
yeah. But I do Singapore, great place for a Korean Zombie to hang him up. He's
Hmm.
just taking a lot of damage. I mean, his whole fighting style was sitting in the pocket and kind of slipping punches and countering. But he's gotten a little bit slower, so he's now taking a whole lot of damage from some pretty scary guys. Um, and yeah, Max Holloway still hadn't been truly cracked in the UFC. He hadn't even been knocked down, so I don't see a path to victory for. for the Korean Zombie. Yeah, truly, he hadn't been the same since Yair Rodriguez hit him
Yeah,
with that elbow.
yeah, and the buzzer beater
Yep. But he looked
is this
really
the
good in that fight
dagger?
too, man. That's what's crazy is
Hmm.
like that catapulted Yair Rodriguez to a title shot in a sense. Like I know it wasn't immediate, but that kind of put Yair on the map for Volt to fight, and then it just derailed the Korean Zombie's career. Although he did still get a title shot, but I mean, be real, that was just a sacrificial lamb to keep Volk happy.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, that'll do it for our UFC predictions. If you want to move into college football, if you're
Week
interested.
sicko, let's go.
Oh yeah, baby. I don't care what you call it. I'm just happy college football's back. I'm
Oh
happy football's
man,
back in general.
oh man, let's
I
go.
mean,
I'm so happy.
I hate to say that, but the best game of the day will probably be Navy Notre Dame, and it's going to be played in the afternoon.
What?
Um, yeah, it's
Oh,
not being played at
dude,
1:30.
prime time on ESPN, boy. New Mexico State and UMass. Prime time game, man.
Yeah, and that's why this week is called Sicko. Um, yeah, so week zero in college football, as it's referred to, is kind of I hate to call it preseason because the games actually count, but this is before most people. This I guess this is NCAA's way of getting letting people have their little taste of college football by just
Just a
letting some of this
taste.
some letting some of the lesser known teams get their time on TV or get their name out there and have something to play for. It's fun. When you're one of the few teams playing before everyone else. That's like I said, that's actually something fun. So yeah, week zero, or as we're gonna call it, week sicko. Keeping in the spirit here. Yeah, most of these matchups are just awful, and even the competitive games are teams like UTEP going up against Jacksonville State. And I'd say 95% of the people in the country couldn't name me a single player on either one of those teams. Um, so Sicko is a fitting name for this. But and speaking of sickos, um, Peyton, any game in particular you're looking out for?
The one I just named. Can't wait to
Yeah,
watch the sicko game of the week, man. We'll call it the sicko bowl, if you will.
Sicko Bowl.
Um, dude, it's gonna be sick. It's two of the worst teams in the country playing prime time on ESPN. Oh man, I'm
You
so
said that's
happy.
New Mexico. That's sorry. You said that's New Mexico State and Massachusetts.
Correct.
Yeah, all you have
I'm
to say
not.
is UMass. You don't even have to say the other team. It's just okay. I'm convinced. You had
Yeah.
me at whatever.
And another game that's got potential to be sicko is Hawaii and Vanderbilt. Ooh, man, how is Vanderbilt in the SEC, dude? How are they in the SEC?
I
Good
don't
thing they
know.
got baseball. That's all I'm
Also,
gonna
why
say.
still have players? Are they all gonna come up with like ash and smut on their
They're all gonna be wearing firefighting
yeah.
outfits.
Unfortunate for them, but yeah. Anyway, I mean, did you want to cover the games, or you're just saying that you're excited? I mean, I know New Mexico State and UMass. Obviously, I do think UMass is probably, I don't know, Hawaii or UMass.
Say it
Um,
again.
I was just saying, I'm trying to determine who the worst team in college football is. Um, is it UMass or Hawaii? Regardless, they're both playing in week zero.
Ooh. I would have
Just
said
to show
UConn
you.
2 years ago, but they actually had a decent year last year, sadly.
Yeah, I know they won the championship last year, so um,
Essentially.
it's a what do you call it? I'm not going to think of the term. I don't even have an inkling of what I'm trying to say. Anyways, but the odds have New Mexico State as a touchdown favorite. All the books have them as a 7 point favorite. I say touchdown, but touchdown and an extra point. And I agree with them. Like I said, I do think UMass is unfortunately for them, cover your ears, UMass fans are the worst
They
team
have fans?
in college. Who fans?
UMass has fans?
Do they? I don't know. I'm
There's no way. There's no
generally
way.
speaking. I don't know.
Dude,
Yeah, UMass is going to have some fans this weekend because people betting on them. I don't know who would, but you know. Anyways, um, The game's gonna be awful. The game's gonna be
Dude,
awful.
imagine
I'm
if
kind of looking. I'm looking at the. I'm like kind of like looking at my sheets right here, and I'm like, oh man, the fact that like a projected spread I have in front of me is like 4 points, and the books are saying it's gonna be seven. I guess New Mexico does have home field advantage. Maybe it's didn't account for that.
I don't know, but
God,
dude, it's gonna be
God,
bad, man. Dude,
God.
the only thing I could wish for more is if Hawaii and UMass were playing
I mean,
in
dude, that would
Hawaii
be.
right now,
Oh
in
no,
Maui,
not
in the
in
middle of
Hawaii.
Maui.
Oh, dude, that would be the straight up sick. That'd be sicko game of the century.
Oh yeah, it said like the game of the century at LSU, Alabama, in 2011. Sicko game of the century. Whoo, man, I want to see it. I got to. I got to see it.
Yeah.
It's on my bucket
Anyways,
list now.
yeah, that's a definite sicko game. That's definitely the sicko game of the week. Is UMass and New Mexico. Unfortunately, I mean it doesn't get worse than that. I know you can look at some matchups and be Hawaii and Vanderbilt. I mean that's pretty bad. No, not as bad as UMass and New Mexico State. Um, and then people be, oh, Ohio's playing. Yeah, no, not the red Ohio, the green Ohio.
No, the Red Ohio's
Um,
playing too, aren't they?
mm, are
Maybe I
they?
had that. Maybe I had that mixed up.
Maybe you had a crazy dream. Yeah, sicko week does that to a lot of people.
Oh
Maybe
no,
you're thinking USC. I know USC plays.
yeah, maybe. No, I know Notre Dame and Ohio State play. Is it week one?
How would you mind your business? That's their concern, not yours. Just kidding. I don't know. They do play. They do play super early. I don't know. Do they play week one?
I'm looking right now.
But yeah, like I said, we're looking forward to
No,
football. We're
they
looking
don't
forward to
play week
anything.
one.
Oh, okay. Well,
Ohio State plays Indiana week one. Oof.
ah, yeah. Good luck, Indiana. Wiped off the face of the earth. But interestingly enough, I do think so. Like I said, some of these games are gonna be close on paper, but like I said, you're gonna be watching some sloppy games all around. I mean, FIU and Louisiana Tech, and this ain't Louisiana Tech of old, where they're decent. They're actually a tech school now, not like Texas Tech, but the little um, special cousin of Texas Tech, if you will. Anyways, yeah, it's gonna be some. I think we're both just excited to see college football back, regardless of whatever teams are gonna be playing. And I mean, I'll definitely be watching the Navy Notre Dame game. I'd like to get a good read on Notre Dame. Like I said, I already have some bets placed. Um, did I already forget what the bets are? Maybe. It's just a sicko like that. You just got to place bets and forget about them. Wait, no, I don't. Oh, yeah, I really don't even know what bets I placed. I'm about to look at them right now. A little bit of weekend fun. I mean, why not do it? It's the first week of college football. You gotta do it. You gotta do it. Oh, okay. Interesting.
What are we looking like?
I'm shocked at some of the bets I did. Okay, so I have a same game parlay for the Notre Dame game. I have them getting over 34 points. I have
Woo!
them winning by more than 10 points in the first half. And I have Audric Estime. Do you know how to say his name?
Nope.
Okay, well I have him getting a touchdown, and you'd be surprised how low the odds are in that. Um, See, I got that going on. Another bet involving Notre Dame I have, and this will be the last one I'll tell you about, is it's a teaser with Notre Dame and USC. I have Notre Dame needs to win by 15 or more, and USC needs to win by 25 or more. I think I do have hopes that both those teams will come out and with something to prove, to try and prove, these teams like to come out and show that hey, we're top 10 for a reason, like we really need to make our mark. And so yeah, uh, looking forward to college football. Any other games you want to highlight?
Yeah, the USC San Jose State game. Look
Mm-hmm.
for San Jose State to pull a huge upset.
Yeah,
Um,
they're
yeah,
live.
yeah.
They're live.
I'm calling it now. They're beating the USC.
Okay, okay. What do you think? What do you think Caleb Williams has painted on his fingernails for the first game?
We didn't want to be there.
Hmm.
Just like he said when he lost to Tulane. Oh, well, we didn't want to be there.
Anyways, did you see my cool Heisman Trophy?
Yeah, something like that. Like, hey, dude, football is a team sport. You're not special. Every other quarterback that Lincoln Riley's had has won a Heisman too. So you ain't special. You ain't.
No, not at all. Not at all. Man, I sure am.
I mean, he
Ah,
got
yeah.
Baker Mayfield a Heisman, bro.
Yeah, well, Baker was electric. Let's be honest. He was
Yeah,
very
he was.
electric.
He was. I
But
wish I wish it would have panned out for him in the NFL. But
yeah, no, me too, man. I really did like him, even though
yeah, I
he
did
was on the
too.
Browns, and I was like, oh god, he's I kind of got the Joe Burrow feeling towards him. Like I freaking like I hate you. I hope you do terrible, but man, like I hope you do well at the same time.
Like, I
Yeah,
secretly like you. Hope you do well, but not against my team.
yeah, exactly. Like I hope you do bad enough to lose enough games to not be in the playoffs, and like your team still sucks. But I hope you do well enough to where people are like, "Does like, oh, does this quarterback need to change teams because this team sucks?" You know, That's that's how I feel. That's how I felt about him, and that's how I feel about Joe Burrow. Unfortunately, Joe Burrow is just too good. He makes his team good. Um, Regardless, that's neither here nor there.
Bengals don't
Um,
deserve him.
no, not at all. Oh, they got him injured during practice not too long ago.
No,
So
man.
screw them.
Freaking cat. They had Casper the Ghost out there. Freaking douchebags.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But yeah. I mean, I think is there any more you wanted to cover for
No,
this
I think
episode?
I think that's it.
All right. Well, we did talk about a lot. We definitely made up for missing a day. Like I said, I know we had a lot to cover, and I think we did cover a lot. We did a good job. So props to you. Like I said, when we talked about Sicko games, I look at us. We're just two guys. Just guys being dudes, excited about football again.
If you ain't excited about sicko games, you ain't a true football fan.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I know that tweet that was going around that said you're a sick person if you're looking forward to week zero games. And
Mm.
like everyone responded like a quote tweet of like someone in a hospital bed.
Yeah, you might as well put me in the hospital.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, dude. Guess who's going to enjoy every second of these games? This
This
guy.
guy. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, yep. Thank you all for tuning in as always. We hope you guys enjoy week zero as much as us. And like I said, definitely if you can wake up early for the UFC card. There's gonna be some good fights. And like I said, as always, thanks for tuning in, guys. We always appreciate you.
Yep. Thank you.